This podcast is intended for adult audiences over the age of 18. It contains adult language and situations. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast belong solely to us, and not of any employer, organization, committee, or other group or individuals. This podcast is not intended to be taken as professional advice.
Welcome to the SwingNation podcast, a podcast by swingers for swingers, where we look to educate others and push back on the negative stigmas and misconceptions associated with our lifestyle. Come with us and share our pineapple journey as we travel the globe, interview the experts, learn and grow together. Join the nation. So, Lacy, people are asking, how do they get to go to a party or an event with us?
They check out swingersociety.net, you create a profile, you sign up for an event, and you come hang out with us. It's super easy.
That's right. If you want to party with us and the other faces and names that you know from social media and TikTok, head on over to swingersociety.net.
Can't wait to see you there.
Hey there, pineapple people, and welcome to the SwingNation podcast. We are your hosts, Northern Guy
And Southern Girl.
and we are back with another episode of the SwingNation podcast.
We are.
Today, we're going to be talking about Atlanta.
Splash Atlanta.
Splash Atlanta, one of our favorite events each year.
Really, I was just sitting here thinking about it before we hit record. When we first started going to events, this is one of the first ones that we really partnership, and it's honestly we've made real genuine friendships and connections with them, and I'm super grateful for them. I was just sitting here thinking about that and felt the need to say it. It's not just we tell you all about it and we help them sell rooms and then we show up and we have fun and we leave. No, this is almost like a mentorship. They're wonderful with helping us. And this morning I woke up and one of the people that helps run Splash had texted me, because you know how we do our fans, our big rave fans. Mm-hmm. They wanted to do rave fans, and he had asked me for our distributor that we use for ours, and of course we shared it with him. He sent me a mock-up. They're going to start having them for theirs, and so it's just it's really nice when you have another brand that is similar to yours that you can coexist and really genuinely work together to build each other up.
It's a valid point. I don't think people maybe don't realize, but lifestyle businesses are a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lifestyle, these different event companies and production people and different clubs and stuff like that. And I think just like any business, mm-hmm. or there's people that don't get along, mm-hmm. and there's drama sometimes, and but we've been very fortunate.
You add in fucking each other in the mix, that just fucks everything up, right? Right? It makes it even more complicated than normal business.
And, if you followed us for any amount of time, you've seen us go through some of that, drama and stuff. But as a whole, we've been very beneficial to the different groups that we've partnered with, and Splash is by far one of the best out there, and have, like you said, have very much. If we have a question about how to do something,
and vice versa, if they have a question, they come to us, just like the fans or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's really nice to have that relationship, and so I think they scratch our backs, we scratch theirs. It's just kind of nice, and I felt the need to share that. I don't know why, it was just heavy on my heart.
Well, thanks for sharing. All right, so let's get into our experience this year at Splash Atlanta 2025.
Yes. You want me to get started? Okay. So we, Splash starts Thursday. The hotel is very vanilla until the last guest checks out. They will not let you put up a sign, nothing. I mean, you can rearrange some furniture and stuff like that, but nothing swinger related can be done until that last person leaves the building. So we typically go down Wednesday night, so that way we are there, and then so we can make that, once they're gone, we can start setting up, we can do our thing. So we went down Wednesday night, which was lovely. You know, we're night people. We're not morning people. Same story, different of it, you know. So we checked in around 7 or so, and we just really sat around and chatted with everybody. Not a lot of our friends, a couple of our friends did get there, so we were able to sit and chat with them. But really, we just sat around and talked with the Splash employees and owners and stuff like in the lobby, and it was nice. We had a pretty stressful 2 weeks leading up to this. We're not going to go back on that subject, but if you've listened, you kind of know what was happening before then. So it was just kind of nice to be around people and just kind of shoot the shit and just enjoy some downtime before the crazy.
No, I agree. And we don't really get much, you know, we've been friends with them for years. You know, the leadership at Splash, and then Rocking Ronnie was there as well. And so we've kind of, but it seems like anytime we've hung out with them, it's kind of like in passing, and they're working busy, and we're working. So it was nice to be there that Wednesday before and kind of, I mean, we spent a couple hours just sitting there bullshitting with them.
And towards the end of the night, J-Dub, which is couple that we talk about on here quite often. And then they have a new couple that they're really good friends with, which is, funny story, you actually introduced them.
I did.
Correct?
Well, what happened is they signed up, this couple that they're friends with now, signed up on Swinger Society.
Yeah.
And because I'm an admin, I see their full account, like where they're from, and, you know, their license, driver's license and all that. And I was like, hey. So I messaged, I'm like, hey, these guys, I didn't say where they were from exactly, but I'm like, hey, these guys are close to you guys. You might, and they're a pretty hot couple. You might want to reach out to them. So they did.
Basically just like connected them is what you did. Right. And they hit it off. And they're like, we joke with them, and they're probably going to kill us for saying this. So we joke that they're poly, not poly. Poly has been a thing in our friendship and just going around. We have a business partner who's in a poly relationship. So it's kind of been a joke. They get a little defensive if you say it, because they're not poly. They're just really good friends, and they live close by, so they get to hang out. So, but we've never talked about this couple before, but they're a new couple. We don't have a name for them. We just call them by their real names. Yeah. That's kind of weird.
We need to come up with a name for them.
I know.
I'll have to think of that. I'm trying to think of what their Swinger Society name is.
I don't even know. Yeah. That's you. You handle on that. So, but very attractive couple. Fits right in. Happy that they're there. Happy that they're J-Dub's poly couple.
Yes.
Just joking. So they came, and we had just like the three couples just kind of sat around and chatted, kind of as we were chatting with the Splash folks. And then at the end of the night, it was like 2 a.m. And they were like, okay, we're going to bed. And we were like, okay, we're going to bed. And then we went to the bed, and me and you got to our room, and I'm like changing. And I was like, why didn't we fuck? Do you remember that?
Well, yeah. And here's the thing is, like, of course, in my head, I'm thinking like, we should all fuck tonight because it's pre-event. There's not many people there. Like, it was a great opportunity for the three. And there was some
build up.
We had been texting and like, oh, we're all going to fuck at Splash. The three, you know, us, them, and they're not poly couple. And we've been talking about it. And so this night, but you had been in a weird headspace leading up to this point.
Yeah, why was I? I can't remember.
Your dad passed, and then Bliss Cruise, and then
I feel like I was getting tempted. It was the drama of our life. That was what it was. You're right. So
you weren't in the best headspace. So I wasn't gonna like push.
You were gonna let me lead,
right? But then when we got in bed, and you're like, "Why didn't we all fuck?" I was like, "Of course you say that. Like, of course." Like,
no, but truthfully, it was 2 a.m.
Like the one time I keep my mouth shut and don't suggest it, then you're like, "Why didn't we?"
But it was 2 a.m. So I think they went and fucked. But if we had went and fucked with them, we would have been up till like 4 a.m. We
didn't have nothing to do till like noon the next day.
I know. Yeah. I should have spoke up. But anyway, it would have been a hot situation. Right. I was kind of indifferent about it. Like, obviously, I wanted to fuck them. I knew we would fuck them throughout the weekend. I assumed that connection would be had. So it was kind of not rushing it, you know, just kind of whatever happens. But it is kind of that, like, if no one speaks up, it just doesn't happen. Right.
And I purposely didn't speak up because I didn't want you to feel like I was pushing you to do something you didn't want.
I get it. So we went to bed, and we woke up the next morning, and it was pouring rain. Like, not just like drizzle. Like, it was a heavy storm set in. And this is Splash Atlanta. Like it is basically outdoors around a pool. Like that's the whole vibe. And what's funny is like Splash is always like, it never rains on our parties. It never rains.
Yeah.
And they almost like will it into existence.
Right.
Like
the
they
night before, we were like, hey, so the weather, what are you guys going to do? And they're like, it's not going to rain. And we're like, the weather looks like it's going to rain. And they're like, nope. They're like, it always looks like that and it never rains. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Which is fine. I mean, we could just like not be out there. The problem is we have a merch tent that actually has like the prime location by the pool. And so it was like a question, do we set it up? Do we not? We finally decided not to because it was just, I knew that even like we probably wouldn't have opened it because there was really no one out there. And I just didn't want the stuff to be outside, even though it's covered and we have, you know, sides for it and everything. I just didn't want to, it wasn't worth risking to me. But we did have a table on the inside. It's almost like a convention style hotel takeover. And so they have a lot of like shopping and tables and stuff set up on the inside as well. So we did have like a stagnant table. That's where you get your blow pops and stuff like that for the inside. So we did do that. I had scheduled some content with Polly Pineapple, who is someone that's been around our group. I've talked about her on the podcast. We had never swapped with her. She's not a big playroom swinger. She just would prefer more private. But she's
been around since the beginning.
Yeah. But truthfully, we've been in private rooms with her and it just has never happened. And I don't typically like to make OnlyFans with content that's with someone that we hadn't previously swung with, like in not generic, like in a, what's the word I'm looking for? Authentic way. I don't like that first encounter to be on camera. I don't know. I know we get a lot of shit about OnlyFans, but it is genuine connections. 95% of the time. I'm not going to lie and say that we have not at some point done some things that we were like, after we were in it, we were like, no, but we've learned.
That's authentic too, though.
Like, you know,
you've all done something and been like, that probably wasn't the best.
Yeah. Well, we've learned and we've grown, and a lot of those has happened very early on. So I really don't like, and that's really why we've never made content with her. Not because we weren't attracted to her or anything. It just had never worked out. So finally I just ripped the Band-Aid off and I was like, hey, we would love to make content with you. She's a unicorn. We would love to make content with you, whatever you have in mind, if you're open to it. And she was down. So she was coming to Splash, or I wasn't sure if she was coming all weekend or what her plans were. I just had asked her if she was coming and she said, yeah. Come to find out, she really just came for her content, which I kind of felt bad after, but she seemed fine. And she ended up coming back another night as well. So Polly Pineapple texted and said she was on her way. So we had slept in because there's really not a whole lot you could do. And so I hopped up and got ready. And this was Atlanta. So it took her way longer to get there.
She got stuck in traffic.
Yeah. I mean, what should have been like an hour or two ended up being like 4, which was fine because we were ready for the day and we kind of just bounced around. We set up our table. Like I said, Daphne and Mike got there. We just kind of, our friends started to arrive. So it was really just kind of nice that we were up and ready and kind of mingling with everyone. Yeah.
It was a little different without the pool party really going. It was more of like a indoor social kind of day.
Yeah. Which was fun. I mean, I didn't hate it.
No.
The pool at Splash is historically freezing. When I say freezing, I mean like Titanic fucking water freezing. It is so cold that like nobody wants to get in. And then like people are only in to like their knees or waist, if that, because it's just that cold. But I mean, everybody it was the first day, so it was fine. Everybody's just kind of arriving and we were, chit-chatting and like there have vendors and stuff set up. So of course I went around and bought some stuff like I always do.
Yeah. It's funny, we run the merch tent as well. And we've had a couple times where we do our secrets event and the weather's not nice. And whenever the weather's not nice, you sell way more stuff because I think people have nothing else to do. So they just start shopping.
Which was unfortunate because our booth was not set up. Right. So we were like, oh, this sucks. But it was fun. So yeah, that's pretty much what the bulk of the day looked like. Polly Pineapple finally got there. And we were able to do our content. So we did me and her, which was really hot, actually. What did we do? I can't remember.
You did the double-ended dildo. Yeah. So we've done the double-ended dildo. So if you don't know, a double-ended dildo is like
a dildo.
Literally a double-ended dildo, but it's like 2 feet long, 2.5 feet long.
Hold on. You just said a double-ended dildo is literally just like a double-ended dildo.
Well, yeah, it's one long dildo.
I thought you were going to explain
with 2 dick ends on either side of it. But it's long. I mean, it's what, 3 feet long? Like, it's a pretty big toy.
Yeah, and we actually just randomly bought this in Nashville at like a set shop just because we needed something to do like that weekend. Like that was different. And it's actually a really good one. It was like $100 though, so it wasn't cheap, but because it's pretty sturdy. But there's only so many things you can do, and we've used it quite a few times. So I guess you had seen it on porn or something? Like, where did you see this?
Well, so if you remember, the last time we filmed with Daphne, you and her scissored and just and used toys on yourself. Yes. And that was pretty hot.
Yeah.
And I think I saw it. I don't know. Maybe it was on Twitter or something. A video or an image of a two girls doing that, scissoring, and using toys on themselves, but using a double-ended dildo at the same time. And I was like, "Oh, that'd be another cool way of doing that."
Yeah.
And so I suggested that to you,
and we did. And honestly, I really liked it because it's twofold. Like flimsy ones are more comfortable because it's not hard and it's I don't know, gives. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it. This one is a little bit more sturdy, which is nice because you can actually like use it and get fucked and it's not like flopping her.
Yeah.
This is the most random conversation. But because it is hard, sometimes if you get a little bit too much of it, it's a lot of dick.
So historically, when we've used this double-ended dildo, you guys have got doggy style.
Yeah.
And we put it on you and you kind of like
rock,
bounce your butts together doggy style and ride it that way. What can happen though is if you guys get out of sync, one of you can end up taking more of it than the other one, and it can be too much. And
you have to like rock, at the exact same.
There's a lot of timing involved.
Like,
it's a little,
So I like this. So all of that to say, ladies, if you want a new way to try double-ended dildo,
this time they laid on their backs, kind of scissored each other. We put the dildo in each one of them, and then they kind of like humped it a little bit while using toys on your clit.
Yeah, it was much, much easier, and I genuinely enjoyed it. It was super hot. And then after that, we did FMF. Is that how you call it? I get confused in the letters. And you fucked both of us, and it was super hot. She squirted everywhere, which is funny because one of those podcasts where I talked about what happens when the squirter squirts. Did you make that into a TikTok or something? And she commented and said, "Sorry, guys," or something like that, because during this she squirted everywhere, which is totally fine. I mean, like it was hot and it was on camera. So listen,
I made a TikTok where it's that was rude or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, there's like a trending sound right now that's like that. I can't even.
That was rude. That was really fucking rude or something like that. Yeah.
In the TikTok, I was like, when she squirts on your side of the bed or something like that.
And Polly Pineapple commented.
She commented and said sorry, which was funny.
It was funny. But that was like super hot. I mean, and we made some TikToks and took some videos and stuff.
Well, and the funny thing about that is we have squirt blankets and we just forget them. Right.
And
so we literally had to strip the entire bed.
We did.
And then we went to the front desk and we're like, "Can you bring us some new sheets?"
Yeah. So it was totally.
Which we'd been there for all of like an hour.
Yeah.
Like.
But it was before, like, if you've ever been to a hotel takeover, they always run out of towels and sheets and stuff like that. So luckily we hit it before,
It got busy.
Yeah.
We were the first ones that probably needed their bed replaced.
Yeah. So, but we had like a pretty hot time. She also loves Honey Birdette, which, I love Honey Birdette lingerie. And so it was fun, like just like from a personal girl standpoint, because we were like planning our outfits and we have a lot of the same things and like not exactly the same thing, but they could go really well. So that was kind of fun for me.
I had a good time.
Yeah.
No complaints.
It was a long time coming. And like I said before, we preferred to do it authentic, like where we have played before. And so it wasn't, like our first time. But I felt like given that it turned out very well.
Basically, we got all the sexual tension from the last 4 years caught on tape.
But now I just want to fuck like for real. Like, it's like, because even though, let's be honest, OnlyFans, it is authentic and real. We are planning. We're like, okay, fuck her like this, and then we're going to stop, and then we're going to fuck like this. So, yes, it's real, but we also are kind of like planning it. So,
Well, you have to capture the right.
Yeah. So, I just want to like just fuck.
Not worry about where the camera is.
Yeah. Because that would be hot. So, yeah, after that, we went and met up with everybody else. They were at dinner. So, the cool thing about this hotel, which this is the last year that Splash is going to be in this hotel. Next year, they have, which is funny that it rained this year because next year, first of all, they're moving it from May to August. So, if like May doesn't work for you, I know a lot of people's kids like into school programs and just like all of that is happening, so some people can't come. They moved it to August next year, and it's in a much bigger hotel. I think this one has like 200 or 300 rooms. Next year is it 600 rooms?
Almost 700, I think.
It also has an atrium, and the pool is completely covered, so it doesn't matter if it rains, snows, whatever, tornado. Well, I hope it doesn't tornado, but you know what I mean. We don't have to worry about that next year because it's going to be covered.
It is an all-weather pool party.
Yeah, and all the hotel and stuff is so cool. Like obviously we'll be there, and this is not like a plug, but it kind of is. It looks like it's going to be pretty insane, like definitely more convention style, even more than it already is.
It will probably be the largest swinger party Atlanta has ever had.
Yeah.
It's
going to be, and I'm like so proud of them for being the ones that did it. So if you're thinking about going, there is some really cool rooms, depending on like where you want to stay, like facing the pool. Think of like a Secrets where how the rooms open up into the pool area. So if you're wanting something like that, I would definitely check out swingerstudy.net. That'll put you to Splash, and you can pick out your room now and you can make payments on it if that's something you're interested in, since we were talking about it.
Nice shameless plug.
We love our people at Splash. Y'all can support them. They're good lifestyle people. So after that, though, we went to the hotel lobby. This is what made me think of that. This hotel, so they have a restaurant in the hotel, but at night, and I think they do it for breakfast too, I'm not sure, but they do like almost like a buffet style. So this night they had tacos, and it's not 5-star, but not terrible. Somewhere in the middle.
It was meh. It was all right. They were decent.
There's also a Chick-fil-A in the basically the parking lot, and a Chipotle, and there's a bunch of good stuff. So we ate with everyone, which was nice. And shortly after that, Polly Pineapple left to get back home because it was already late, and I think she had to work the next morning or something, and I think she needed to get that out of the way so then she could come back.
Agreed.
So after that, we really just kind of got ready for the club. It was, we probably like rested a little bit and then started getting ready. So this night, I need to look up the themes. Let me get the themes. Hold on. Okay. So Thursday night's theme was pajamas and pearls, which is kind of hard to do and be TikTok appropriate. Mm-hmm. So, I kind of sometimes get jealous of other girls that don't make TikToks because they can just wear pasties and like a thong. They can whore it out right from the get-go. Yeah, and I have to you have to plan on sometimes you plan 2 outfits. You're like, here's my TikTok outfit, and then here's my actual. Yeah, or I'll remove a layer, or take pasties off, or take a Yeah, like I have one for Naughty coming up that I'm wearing strictly pasties, which is the first time that I've ever done that. We'll see how this goes, but I'm gonna wear like a bikini top for my TikToks. So, but this one is pajamas and pearls, and I had a really pretty it was really a dress, but it was like pajama. Ish. It looked like it was lingerie. It was honey burdette. It was honey burdette. I got it off the sale. It was a really pretty navy dress. So it's kind of like a nightgowny lingerie pajama set. Yeah, and I just put a bunch of pearls with it, and then you had on black silk pajamas, which is really funny because you and Daddy Mike had on the exact same outfit, and we didn't plan it. Me and Daphne planned to match one night, but had no idea that we had basically picked out y'all the same outfit. And her and I had on the same earrings and the same necklace from Amazon. Our outfits didn't match at all. But it's funny because we're so in tune that we ended up with the exact same things on. It's kind of funny. It happens. Mike went and changed. I always match with somebody. Yeah. Always. Mike went and changed about halfway through. He's like, I look like your little bitch. I can't wear this. You hadn't changed. So we got ready, and then Mike and Daphne have the best room at Splash, Atlanta. It's like a 2-room suite. Not really sure how they I mean, obviously they paid for it. I think they used to have a different room, and then maybe once you get like a good room like that, they give you first dibs for next time. You kind of get grandfathered in. And I think the room next door to them came open, and they offered it to them first if they wanted to upgrade or something like that. So somehow they ended up with this freaking amazing room.
Like the celebrity suite or something. Yeah.
Like it had a name. What was like the Harrison? The Wilson. Yeah.
The Wilson suite.
Yeah. So we did all the TikToks in their room, which was really nice. And also right outside, like it opens to the pool. Right outside of their room was like picnic tables almost. So we had most of our meals out there too. Yep. It was really nice to have that space. So thanks, Daphne and Mike, for reading that and letting us mooch off of you. So we went to their room to make TikToks and take pictures and stuff. And every night different people came depending on who was there. Like this night, Sudden Swap was there. I can't remember who. I mean, there was several of us, but like the next night they weren't. So it just kind of, and that's who you see on our TikToks and stuff. It's just whoever really wants to come. We're just
and is ready, because a lot of times people are late getting ready and getting dressed. And so we try to
Adventurous couple
as many influencers as we can to come to these things.
We're just like, hey, if you want to come. And to be honest with you, some people always come because they like, I got to get the TikToks. And some people like come sometimes, some people don't.
Southern Swap was there, right?
Yeah.
Both nights.
No, just Friday. They left Saturday morning.
Right.
So that's like when you see us make those TikToks, basically everyone's invited. It's just kind of who shows up. Dan always makes me show up.
Lacy's always there. Not always. You've missed a few, but
not many. So after that, we went to the club, which was pretty freaking awesome. This was the most packed Thursday night that I think I've ever seen at Splash.
Yeah, I was talking with them about it, and I was like, man, for a Thursday night, this club is like full.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, it's because there was no pool party, which makes sense, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, everybody during the day hadn't really got to party yet. And so once that club opened, it filled in pretty quick.
Do you think that like the bigger Splash gets, the more people like before would just come? Because typically hotel takeovers are like Friday and Saturday. Do you think that more people are like, I don't want to miss any of it. I want to be there for the whole time. Let me take off, take off and go Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Yeah, do you think there's some of that? Because it definitely seemed like busier. And I do agree that I think the weather had something to do with it. But I felt like there was just more people there.
Well, I think undoubtedly that Splash as a brand is growing. But I do think, if I just think of like our secrets events, we used to not even do Thursday. We used to do just Friday, Saturday. And then so many people started coming Thursday that, we did Thursday nights. And now that we're doing Thursday nights, people are coming in on Wednesday. There's people getting to our secrets events Monday, Tuesday sometimes. So I think the bigger something gets, it's almost like it doesn't matter. If you start the party on Wednesday, people are going to come Tuesday. If you start, but yeah, I think it's growing and there's more and more people. Yeah,
but it was packed. We danced. We had a blast. We ended up going to the playroom this night, and it was a lot of people. I can't even name off who. I didn't even write down who all came, but it was a humongous group of people.
And this is one of my favorite things about Splash. Is their playrooms. They put on some of the most professional playrooms that you'll see. Probably them in Naughty New Orleans and maybe Bliss Cruise are like up there as far as the nicest playrooms. But what I do like about Splash is they always have this huge orgy room. And when I say huge, it's like, what is it, 15 beds, 16 beds or something that's put together in the middle of the room, which works perfectly for us because we always have such a big group.
I mean, there was probably 10 to 15 couples, easy, just in our little, like our friend group, not to mention the people that like joined in or was close by. And, yeah. So it was a lot going on. And I was ready. I was like ready for it to happen. And I'm going to, because something happened. We're going to talk about what happened. But leading up to this, we had been kind of dealing with, just I don't want to bring it up, but we had been dealing with the Life of Spice stuff, and it had been heavy. And so this was like we were still pretty actively going through this, and we still are now.
Well, it was a rough couple months. I mean, your dad passed,
Yeah.
and then like we really hadn't got over that yet, and then the whole Life of Spice thing happened, and so we had our mental headspace for the last like 2 months before Splash had been pretty roller coaster.
Yeah. So I was ready for it. You know, I had a lot of fun at Tempted. I was like, and I thought Tempted went wonderful, and we came off of Tempted to, you know, all of that. And so coming into Splash, I was just like, I'm ready to just have fun and fuck everybody and fuck everything, and let's just party and let's just have a great time.
Well, and it's not our event too, so like we don't have, you know,
we could work, we could like have fun and not have to work and all that. So I was like, I was ready to go, you know. So we get in this playroom, and I had fucked a couple of people, you had fucked a couple of people, and okay, now before we tell the story, we have asked permission if we could tell the story. Because originally they asked us not to. But we actually went back to them and said, hey, I know you don't want us to tell this story, but we feel like this is a good story for other people to hear, because us four are not the only ones who've ever had like a misunderstanding or a miscommunication. And like, I didn't handle it well. I don't know that they handled it. I feel like there was a lot of mistakes made, and I think it's worth telling because somebody else is probably going to go through this or has already. So
I think there was mistakes made, but I also think everybody handled it maturely at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could have done better.
Well, from beginning to end. Yeah. Maybe not in the moment, but yeah.
So I'm like getting ready to fuck somebody. Hell, I don't even know who I'm trying to fuck at this point. You know, I'm like living my best life. And a friend of ours, the couple, I noticed they're getting up and they're getting their stuff together, like they're leaving. And the look on their face, I knew something was wrong. Yeah. Now, you were oblivious, like you always are. You're like fucking or doing something. I don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, hey, y'all, what's going on? They're like, nothing. We don't want to talk about it. And I guess I should have just said, okay, you know. But I genuinely thought that like someone had overstepped, or, you know, like, I don't know, consent was violated, something.
You're worried about it.
I was worried that I care about
and you were ready to fight somebody. If somebody had done something that was inappropriate, you were going to try to fix it.
And so the husband looks at me and said, if Dan doesn't want to fuck my wife, he just needs to tell her. And I was like, wait, what? You know, I mean, I was like, huh? Because it was loud. You know, people were fucking. You know, it's dark. You know, there's a lot going on.
I didn't hear. So I'm right next to you, but he came over and whispered that into your ear.
Yeah.
Like I didn't hear.
And I was like, are you kidding me? Or I was like, really? And you were like, you kind of looked at me and like, what's going on? I think you could tell by the look on my face. And Daphne said she could tell by the look on my face that something had just happened.
Right. Yeah. He came up and you asked him what was wrong. And he said, no, nothing. And then you asked him again and he came up and he whispered something in your ear. And I could not hear what he said. But then by your reaction, I was like, oh, something bad.
So you look at me. I said, you didn't hear what he said, did you? And you said, no. I said, he doesn't think that you want to fuck his wife, and they're leaving because they're mad. They think, or feelings are hurt. You know, I mean, I don't know if mad's the correct word, so I take that back. But feelings were hurt. I guess that's the best way to describe it. And they felt like, and I think and let's say this, he was taking up for his wife, as he should, you know. But for me, I know that this is one of our top 5 favorite couples to fuck. Now, everybody says you don't have a favorite couple to fuck, right? Like if you ask somebody, but everybody does. Let's just be real. You have your favorite.
I don't know if I have a favorite, but I could probably rattle off a few.
Not a number one, but you have a top few that if they're there, you're like, hey, we're hanging out. And this couple is one of those couples. So like I knew immediately that was 100% not. I didn't even have to like go and ask you. I knew, because I know my husband, that was not the case.
Right.
And for some reason, it flew all over me. And I don't know if it was because of the week or 2 weeks leading up to this, the fact that I was just like trying to live my best life, maybe because I'd had a drink and had a little liquid courage, but I lost my shit in the playroom. I yelled in the playroom. I said, I don't know what I said. I was like, I hopped up pretty quickly and I started getting my stuff together. And I remember saying, that is a you insecurity. That is something that you are dealing with. And that's not fair to put that on us. So around those lines. Is that something
along those lines?
And you basically were like, get your ass out of here.
Well, it wasn't the place to have that conversation.
No, and I shouldn't have yelled. And to be honest, we actually went.
It took a minute. I mean, he said something, you said something back, and then he was like, "No, like it's pretty obvious." And then so it kind of.
Yeah,
you went back and forth for a minute before it kind of got loud.
And she was. It was really me and him. She was like, "No, don't.
It's okay. Yeah,
it's fine. And I was like, "No, it's not okay. That's not okay." I said, "If you think that Dan doesn't want to fuck you, we can sit down and have a grown-up conversation, but not like this. This is not how we handle this." And so you were like, "Lacy, go get." So I grab my stuff and my shoes. You hand me the key, and I go to the room. Now, what happens once I leave?
I got my stuff and followed you, and I followed you, but apparently they had followed you first because when I came up, you were in the room and they were standing outside the door when I came up.
And this is a friend that we've
had. It took me a minute to our stuff was up on the bed. I had to find everything. It's dark.
And this is not somebody that we fucked once or twice. This is someone that we've had a relationship with for years. So all I know is you knocked on the door.
And I think you had the key.
Yeah, and I went and opened it. And you and that couple were standing there.
And basically what I said is, let's talk about this tomorrow. Like Lacy's, she got upset. And I just know you, when you get upset, you don't instantly calm down. Like you need a little bit of time. And then once you get some time, you can have an adult conversation. And I think they just wanted to talk it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just know when you get in that headspace where you're upset, you need more time to
and he came to the door,
reality.
and I just said, not tonight. I said, if you, again, what I said earlier, if she feels this way and you want to have like a sit down conversation, and I care about our friendship, and if you want to talk this out, and let's, her feelings are valid, let's talk it out. But I just didn't think at 1 a.m. or whatever time in a playroom when people had been drinking, doing what I'd taken my Shivers gummies, I mean, let's be real. I didn't feel like that was the time or the place to have that conversation. Now, was I in the wrong for maybe asking? Yeah. Was he in the wrong for probably telling me? Was I in the wrong for reacting the way I did? Yes. Was he in the wrong for probably arguing back? Yes. There was a lot of mistakes, and I 100% am not blaming him or her for it. I played my role in it too. And I think I don't normally react that way, maybe at home when I get mad at you, but in a public setting, I don't. So only thing I know is maybe it was just
stress.
The stress of everything was just kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I was just I'm done. So should we take a break and then we'll.
Yeah, let's take a little break and hear from the partners and sponsors of the Swing Nation podcast. And then we'll get back. We'll talk about how we've resolved this drama.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll be right back. Lacy, the question we get asked on social media and TikTok more than any other question is, how do I find lifestyle people, lifestyle events, lifestyle parties, lifestyle cruises, lifestyle people? I think I already said that.
Yeah.
In my area.
Basically anything lifestyle you need.
How do I find it?
You need to get on a swinger website, and SDC is one of our favorites. It's really big here in the Southeast U.S. for sure.
Yeah. And it has all the clubs listed. It has all the parties listed.
Yeah.
You can find information on cruises. You can find our podcasts on SDC.
Yeah, you can.
And if you want to try it completely risk-free, we have a free trial link for you.
We do, yeah.
So how do people go and find that free trial link?
If you go to TheSwingNation.info and scroll to the bottom, you're going to find some of our favorite products and brands, and you're just going to click that link and go straight there.
All right. If you guys want to find lifestyle people in your area, go sign up for SDC, completely risk-free.
Yeah.
And see if it works for you.
I agree.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Go check it out.
Dan, one thing that I love is a responsible swinger.
I love a responsible swinger.
Yes. And we are so excited to partner with I Know My Status. They're an awesome STD test. They're the ones that test the porn stars. So, I mean, if the porn stars are testing one way, we got to be like them, right?
Absolutely. So if you've heard of talent testing, this is the same brand, the same business.
It is.
That's behind I Know My Status. And so if you want to fuck like a porn star, you need to get tested like a porn star. So you need to go to iknowmystatus.com for a limited time. Use code lifestyle and you're going to get 15% off your first test. I promise you, this is the test if you're a swinger that you need to be taking on a regular basis. So go get it, guys. Lacy, we don't support brands and companies and things that we don't personally enjoy.
Yeah, we use all of our sponsors, like 100%. And so we very much enjoyed this one.
Yeah. So one of our newer sponsors is Shivers.
Yeah.
And specifically Shivers Intimacy Gummies.
Yeah.
If you're listening, if you heard our Kinky Cabin episode, we had a little experience with these intimacy gummies, and I can 100% guarantee you they work.
Yeah. I mean, you don't get like really messed up or anything, but it just like kind of makes you tingly all over, if that makes sense. Like I feel when I was coming, I almost had like goosebumps on me. It just, I don't know how to explain it, but it just kind of like makes everything very sensitive.
And it made me feel like I was 18 and needing to do all of the things.
Yes.
So if you are interested in THC based products and would like to try something that maybe would enhance your intimacy, we highly recommend going to shivers.store. And then if you use code TSN, saves you 10%.
Yeah.
Right? So go check them out. Shivers.store, code TSN. Check out those intimacy gummies.
Yeah. Get you some. Take them like at home with your spouse. Just try it out. Like maybe go to dinner, take it on the way home, let it all kind of like, like soak in. And then by the time you're ready to hit the bedroom, you're going to be like ripping each other's clothes off. It's really hot.
Right. And then once you have that experience, I want you to email us at TheSwingNation@gmail.com and tell us what you think of the intimacy gummies.
Yeah.
I promise you're going to enjoy them.
It was fun.
All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for listening to our sponsors. Lacy loves our sponsors. Okay, so when we left you before the break, we had just had a little bit of a blowout.
Yeah, like our first ever. This has never happened in all the years. I've never raised my voice in a playroom. Just for the record, just to say, I did confirm with Splash that they didn't even know that, like, it wasn't, like, I think even, like, we have friends that were at the bed next to us, they didn't even hear it. So even though I felt like I was loud, I don't think it came across to other people the way it did to.
Yeah, we talked to the event and we're like, hey, we're sorry.
I apologize.
And they were like, we don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I was like, I'm sorry. Perfect, I was like, I showed my ass and I apologize. And they were like, what? And I was like, oh, okay, good. Yeah.
And let's be honest, like, that kind of stuff happens. Like, people have little arguments in playrooms and stuff. Like, it kind of, that happens.
Yeah. It wasn't like I was throwing stuff and like screaming. I just kind of raised my voice.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we wake up, we have text messages.
Well, hold on. Because that wasn't the end of our night. So I told him not tonight. Well, Daphne and Mike were obviously like freaking out. They're like, what the hell? So they come knocking on our door. And they ended up staying in our room for like an hour or
kind of
more.
calming you down.
Yeah. And I talked Dan into fucking her. You fucked Daphne. Do you remember that?
Now that you say that, I do.
Yeah.
I forgot.
I ended up, I was like, Daphne, you didn't get to fuck Dan. And so they actually made me feel better, just kind of like talking it out and watching your best friend fuck your husband, that always puts a smile on your face. And then me and you fucked and then we went to bed. So like the night wasn't ruined. I'd still had like a great time. And they came and it kind of helped, like, I'm like, okay.
Calm you down.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, maybe I was a bitch. You said, Okay, so the next morning we wake up and we had texts from the night before. They're just saying,
from them, yeah,
really sweet. But like, hey, we probably shouldn't have said that in that setting, and we'd like to talk to you. We don't want this to be like a huge big deal. And
right, your friendship means a lot to us,
and we felt the same way.
Right.
And so they came to our room and we chatted, and at that point I was not mad. This is what I wanted. I wanted just some time to kind of like process it and think about it. And I was pretty like straightforward though. Like you said, you didn't, like when they left, you were like, you didn't back down. I kind of just laid it out there. I was just like, the fact that you feel that way is sad because Dan really enjoys having sex with you, and he 100% doesn't feel that way. And she kind of explained why it happened and how it happened.
Well, and I think that's valid because I think this is a good conversation. And the whole reason I wanted to talk about this on the podcast is not because I wanted to, throw anybody under the bus or try to like, we were right and they were wrong.
No, we were wrong.
I
We
think
were both
there's
wrong.
valid points on both sides. And so from talking to her and talking to them, basically, us and them are close and they value our relationship just like we value their relationship. But over the last few months or the last few events, we hadn't maybe spent as much time with them. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, we had been in playroom situations a few times with them. Mm-hmm. And she felt like I passed her over.
Yeah.
So basically she felt like I went around her to go fuck other people. So it made her feel like, well, maybe he just doesn't, maybe he's not attracted to me. Maybe he doesn't want to fuck me. And in my head, I never felt that way.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I passed you to go fuck somebody else, like, I just missed you. I just didn't see like an opportunity or an opening. And I specifically remember that night I did walk past her in the playroom, but she had like, I think you and another guy on her. Yeah. So I felt like she was engaged. Yeah. And so I just went to find where I could fit in somewhere else. Mm-hmm. But
we actually purposely, because we had not played with them in a while, so we purposely, not even doing it on purpose and not even talking to each other about it, we had purposely both went down there so we could be kind of, because there was, there's a lot of people, so we kind of found
the funny thing about that night where we had that little blowout is we were on one side of the bed and they were on the far opposite side of the bed. And so when she felt like I got up and walked past her, we literally were getting up to walk down there to be closer to them so that we could play with them. When I walked past her, I felt like she was occupied. They didn't feel that way, but I honestly don't know what the case was with that. But here's my point: is I guess the real question of this is if you have friends in the lifestyle that you're close with, right, and you maybe feel like they're avoiding you or you're growing apart, or maybe you're like, man, I really want to fuck him, but he doesn't seem to like he wants to give me any attention. Like those feelings are valid. And I can even see like in the moment, like getting upset by it or getting your feelings hurt by it and being like, you know what, I just need to take a break.
I have 100% felt left out in group settings before. And I've told you, hey, I kind of feel left out. And you have then turned your attention to me. And that's your way of protecting me. And that's what he was doing. He was just trying, he just was like, hey, let's just go, instead of like just moving themselves like away from us. But I do really wish that, they could have sent us a text or even just like came to our room and said, hey, can we talk about this? I wish that they would have communicated to us before instead of in that situation. But I also don't blame them that they didn't, because there have been plenty of times that like I've been into somebody and kind of felt like they weren't as into me as I was into them, and kind of got my feelings hurt, and I didn't communicate that. So I can't.
It's an awkward conversation.
I can't blame anyone for not doing the same thing that I did. I just think that my reaction happened just because of the stress leading up to it. And had I not reacted that way, I think, I don't know.
But, it does, and I don't know the right answer to this, so I don't know what I'm really saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't know how to handle that. Like, even now looking back at it, what's hard is we have so many friends, and there's so many people that I want to have connections with, and I want to have sex with, and I want to engage with, but it's almost like it's hard to try to worry about all of that and all of them.
That's one of the downfalls of group play. So like somebody that maybe is like into more of like a 2-on-2 like connection is going to say, well, that's why we don't do big group play. So that way people don't get their feelings hurt. If we're just in a private room with a couple, then we're not having to navigate that, because like obviously if we're in there with you, that's what we want. So I mean, I think there's like advantages and disadvantages to like a group play, a big orgy type setting. And I think, in my opinion, this is just one of those disadvantages. And I think that if you truly value that connection with that couple, I think it might be worth it to kind of suck it up. Even though these conversations are hard, have that conversation, because the opposite, if you didn't have those conversations, then something like this is going to happen, or you're going to pull away from that couple, maybe stop hanging around them because, like, if you feel like your wife is being
like, if they're not into me, then I'm not going to make the time to go hang out.
And then you're
with
really missing out on like a fun, really cool connection if
it's just a misunderstanding.
It's just a misunderstanding. The truth is there's just a lot going on.
But I guess for me, it's hard for me. Like when I go into a group play session, I keep an eye on you and worry about you and make sure, one, that I fuck you, but then two, that like you're happy and healthy and everything is good with you, right?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to have to worry about other people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I feel like if we have other friends in the lifestyle, it's their husband's job to make sure that.
Well, I think that's what he was doing.
Right. But what I'm saying is, from my perspective,
like what could you have done differently?
Right. Well, now should I? Because I do care about this couple and I care about her. Well, should I make sure that I give her attention? Should I try to?
I don't know.
And then but it's impossible to do that with everybody.
Well, if you've got 10 females on a bed, you can't equally,
right.
And like say maybe one or two you maybe aren't as attractive,
right.
like obviously your interest level is going to be different. It's not unanimous across the board. I don't know the answer to that. I think that's just a disadvantage of group play. Mm-hmm. And maybe try to chalk it up to that.
For me, when I go in the group play, I worry about you. And then I basically just, where I fit in, I go. You know what I mean? Like whatever, just let the flow happen, right? Oh,
yeah, you're not gonna.
Oh, there's a girl, there's her vagina, she's available. Like, hey, do you mind if I touch you? Yeah, okay, good. But I'm not trying to like make sure everybody gets a turn or try to prioritize. Like, I just kind of go with what happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's been times where in group play you have one girl get on you and she doesn't get off.
It just happens. I just stay in that spot for the rest of the night, and I don't think about it.
You're just along for the ride.
Think good things are happening, and I'm happy. Lacy's over there getting fucked by 5 different guys. I'm over here with just this one girl, but everybody seems happy. I'm just gonna go with it.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't know. Then, like, should I try to navigate it differently based off what happened?
I don't know.
But I don't know if I really even want to worry. Like, it's too much. So now you're like worrying about things.
Yeah, I don't know. I think what I do know is that we care about them, and we had a really good, honest conversation with them. So, like, just to kind of bring it back, because I don't think that we can answer that question. Mm-hmm. I think it's just kind of one of those things that when you
part of me thinks like I do value them and their friendship and their relationship, and so I probably will prioritize her a little bit more than maybe I have in the past, but just because
you care
they
about
mean
her.
that much to me, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think I'm not gonna let it like. I'm not gonna think about it like I do you. You know what I mean? Like it's just gonna kind of be whatever.
But we ended up. They were in our room for like an hour and a half or so, and we really talked it out. And we talked about a lot of this, and it was a very good conversation. I said what I needed to say. I think they said what they needed to say. I felt like the next 24 hours was like a kind of a little bit awkward, just personally. Even though we squashed everything, we kind of had to get back into like the swing of things.
Right.
But like I remember telling them like when they were leaving, I was like, I wasn't mad at you when you walked in. So like, I'm really not mad at you now, just so you know. Like we were fine. Like we could have never have talked about it, and we probably would have just it would have been okay, but like, I'm really glad that we did this, and I'm really glad we talked it out. And I think like in the long term, it's going to be better that we did.
Yeah. I could see it going the other way. Right. So when something like that happens, I think everybody gets defensive. Everybody, you were kind of sticking up for me. And the funny thing is,
it was me.
The issue was me and her, or the apparent issue was she didn't feel like I wanted to
but it was her. Me and him.
But it was you and him that got like confrontational. But I could see then how we would just go to our corners and like fuck you, and it could ruin your whole relationship. You know what I mean? Like if you like,
I don't think that would have happened.
But it could.
It could have.
Like if people were less mature that were involved, you could like get defensive and then like it could end everything.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that we were able to talk it work through it. And I think that's the right answer, right?
Yeah.
Like when situations like this happen, what you need to do is listen to what they're saying, and everybody's feelings are valid, even if you don't think they're rational feelings, right? Even if you're like, I don't agree with why you feel that way, but their feelings are still real. You know what I mean? So hearing them out and understanding what they're feeling, especially and sympathizing with that.
I get it, because I can think of a couple of guys that we have played with that I really was into, and I never felt like maybe they were 100% into me, and I felt a little insecure and a little upset by that. And so I can 100% relate to her. And especially once I remove myself from that playroom and kind of like, was like, okay. And I totally got that. And I was like, okay, well, this is my friend and I care about her and I don't want her to feel this way, even though I'm having an emotional reaction to it. But, and to be honest with you, this was a really good learning thing for you and I, because we can communicate with each other very well. I don't feel like we communicate with other couples as well. We tend to be more of like an avoidant type of like, instead of like being honest and open and like really communicating our feelings, we tend to just kind of like pretend like it doesn't exist. That's kind of been our go-to, which is not healthy and not correct. So I think that this was like, for us, or at least for me, I can't speak for you, but for me, I felt like it was like, okay, in the future, if we have an issue, we really should take the time and talk it out, especially if we value that friendship.
No, and I think that's true. I think we've probably had even like, there's probably couples right now that we're not super close to that we were, you know, a couple of years ago. And really the reason we're not super close is probably something like this where it's not even, there's no issue there. It's just like
a misunderstanding.
People got, their feelings hurt and we never really talked about it. And so we just kind of grew apart and avoided the situation instead of just being like, hey, what is going on here? What's the matter? How can we fix it? Like,
because in the lifestyle, to me, the only thing that should matter is you and I. If me and you are good, everything else.
Well, I think
that's an overall, but really.
But friendships matter too.
But friendship matters too. You know, I think like when you first get in the lifestyle, I think that's like a really good way to look at it, because you have to protect this relationship at all costs and you got to figure it out together and you got to, you know, do this. And I think like once you've kind of established that and you've got that part down, I think it's beneficial to extend that to your friends as well. Especially
if they're people you genuinely care about.
Yeah, if it's somebody that you're going to fuck once and never see again, okay, this is all.
If you fuck a couple one time and they have some kind of emotional reaction, like, okay, maybe you don't want to go through the...
But if you fuck a
couple... If it's a couple you've been friends with for a year or more, and
you care about it,
seems like there's something going on, instead of just avoiding it and not talking about it, it's better to confront it and be like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
How can we fix it? How can we make it better?
Yeah.
And that is something I think me and you could get better at.
It is.
Because it seems to be like when couples pull away, we're like, well, that's their problem. Like, that's on them. Like, that's not on us. And like you said, we kind of circled the horses and like me and you are good. So like whatever.
Yeah.
But truly we could be better at reaching out and repairing other relationships.
We could. Yeah. So like this episode, obviously we're like almost at an hour. So this episode kind of took a turn for the worse, but again, I kind of think I talked about this before, and I think I didn't finish my full thought. They originally asked us to not talk about this in that sit down that we had. They were like, "We really hope this doesn't make the podcast and stuff." We said, "Of course not." But when we went back to them and said, you know, we feel like this is a learning experience, whatever you want to call it. For other people, it was for us, and we really think that other people would learn something from all of us. So we went back and they gave us permission to share the story. So thank you for allowing that, and thanks for letting us be humans and make mistakes and learn together. So I appreciate it.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna have to wrap up this episode, and so you're gonna have to come back for part 2 of Splash Atlanta and learn what happened Friday and Saturday night. Which is really the main party.
Did you end up fucking her?
The main event. Well, I don't know. We'll have to see.
What happened?
Come back next week for that.
Yeah.
Also, we got a bunch of events coming up.
We do.
We're going to be at Naughty in New Orleans.
We will be. July 9th through the 13th will be in Naughty in New Orleans. It's sold out event. I do not think they're going to have day passes.
We've had friends texting us already about that.
I've had people on Discord saying they rented a house and they were going to buy their day passes. And as of right now, there are no day passes on sale. And it's kind of up in the air if that will even happen, just based off capacity. Naughty is amazing fucking time. And I highly suggest that you go. I think like next year's will be available as soon as this year's happens. It's one of our favorite events. You know, people used to always tell us that Naughty was like for old people and not very fun. Fuck that. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I can barely handle it and I'm 40. How do old people do it? I don't know. It's a blast. It is not all old people. I'd say that in quotation marks because somebody could consider us old. I don't know what they considered old when they said that. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's like every event. You'll find 20-year-olds to 60, 70, 80-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a good time.
But sometimes those 60, 70-year-olds will outpace the 20-year-olds.
They will.
They'll party harder.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised. Don't cut them short.
No. So it is sold out. So, but if you have seen it and you're like, I want to do it, it will go on sale like within a couple of days of this year's.
Yeah,
So
and we'll have it up on swingerstudy.net as soon as it goes on sale.
yeah, and if you book with us, we do. We have a private room where we can chat. And you can ask questions and stuff about clothes or where to eat, or we try to let you have first information that we do. So we'd love for you to join us if that's something you're interested in. And then after that, we are going back to Hito, which I'm really excited. July 26th through August 2nd. Sold out again. Second thing that's sold out. We already have dates for next year, which is basically around the same week for next year.
For 2026.
It is not on sale yet. So, but stay tuned. So if that's something that you're interested in, we are aware that Hito is a big commitment. This is not something that you can just do. It's not like going to Florida for the weekend.
Is there payment plans?
There are payment plans. And if you book it, it'll come available, in July or early August. And so if you book it right away, you get that extra. Yeah, you get the whole year. And so it makes it a little bit better. So now's the time to start talking about it. It's a great time. Us, Topless Travel, My Frisky Business. It's a really fun
party mode.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So stay tuned to that. And then after that, we have Houston. We will be at Colette, Houston, August 22nd through the 24th. We are hosting a private pool party at John and Jackie Melfi's house. Like, who the fuck are we?
Yeah, I don't know. I remember
this is real life.
We got to go there last year, and we spent the night with them when we in Houston. We were there for Splash?
Yeah.
And I felt like
we felt like we had made it.
It was like me and Lacy went to bed that night. We're in John and Jackie's house.
Yeah.
We're in their house.
So now we're bringing y'all. We still have tickets. It's it's a small group because it is their private residence. That is where they live. But there's still some tickets left. So if that's something you want to get, you can go to swingersociety.net. And then at night, so that Friday night and Saturday night will be at Colette in Houston. So we would love to have you. Really, really excited about that one. It's going to be
Texas
awesome.
Don't play. They bring it. Texas knows how to. There's a ton of swingers out there, and they know how to party.
And I would just kind of how we were when they invited us to our house. I just wanted to go so I could say I was in John and Jackie's house. Do what we did. Just go so you can say you're in John and Jackie's house, or swinger royalty.
Yeah.
And then after that, we have secrets, which is hard to believe. It's almost secrets time. It is the 5th. Now it's the 4th. So the 4th through the 7th of September. So it's the weekend after Labor Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And there's I think last I looked, there's only 20 rooms, and that was a couple weeks ago. So it's probably less than that now. So if you do want a room at Secrets and you don't want to have to stay off site to come, go get that room right now.
Do it now so you don't have to text us.
Don't text us the week of and be like,
don't do it, guys.
If there's a cancellation, can you add me to the list? And then I think we had 50 couples on the wait list last time. So go book that room right now. Do not wait till last
I think everybody's thinking about their summer plans right now. Yeah. They're not thinking about Labor Day weekend, but y'all, it'll be July before we know it. So go ahead and just get the room. Make our lives easier so we don't have to deal with it in a couple of months. Because
honestly, once there's nothing I can do once the rooms are gone.
Yeah,
they're gone.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. That was a good story. We got a little sidetracked, but we're going to get back to it next week and tell you all the sexy fun we had Friday, Saturday. Huge shout out to Splash and that whole crew and all our friends that came out for that. Definitely book 2026. It is. I don't even know what to expect. It's going to be crazy.
It's really exciting.
All right. Well, I think with that. In a world full of apples.
Be the pineapple.
Be the pineapple, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
If you've enjoyed our podcast and want to support us, leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening. If you want to see more of our content, you can find links to Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, OnlyFans, and more in the show notes. Come join the conversation with us and other swinger content creators on our Swinger Society Discord server. If you have questions or feedback, email them to us at TheSwingNation@gmail.com. Make sure you head on over to TheSwingNation.net and keep up to date on all things Swing Nation. We thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.